Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Parenthood. I'm your host, Neha, and if you've been with us for a while, you know that Parenthood is where we sit down for real, honest conversations with parents who are figuring it all out: work, life, love, and the wild, wonderful chaos of raising tiny humans. We talk about everything from sleepless nights to identity shifts and the small, quiet moments that make it all worth it. And today's episode is one I've been looking forward to for a long, long time. My guest today is Charu Shankar, actor, dancer, theater director, wellness coach, and someone whose work I have admired for years. You might know her from her roles in Siyasat, Rocket Boys, Animal, and most recently, Crew. But beyond the screen, Charu has been doing some deeply meaningful work through her wellness studio, where she supports women through pregnancy and postpartum recovery. She's also a mom to Agastya, and she often says that motherhood changed everything for her: her relationship with her body, her work, her art, and even her sense of self. Charu, I have been wanting to have this chat with you for ages. So I'm really happy we get to sit down and do this conversation today. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to Parent.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry about the chaos in the morning.
No worries. I think that's what, as you rightly put it, that's what parenthood, that's what motherhood is.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think, everyone, before I had my son, I used to always feel, ki, oh, so sweet, mini me, oh, la, la, la. And then later, like, I mean, once I became a mom, I realized it was really about just dealing with chaos.
Yeah.
And I think that that's been like the biggest challenge, at least for me. Like, I like to be on time. I like to have some things in place, but oh my God, the chaos that, parenthood is like, it's like you're never on time. You're never fully dressed. I was planning to like, wear something other than my fitness outfit for this podcast, but that's what parenthood is. It's like you just show up. That's
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
You've showed up.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad you did. So before we dive into the mom stuff, Charu, I always like to start with something which is essentially you. So if you had to describe yourself right now as you are in three words or phrases, what would they be and why?
Okay. I think I'm someone who's very determined,
Mm-hmm.
um, in the sense that, karna hai to karna hai, or, something sort of, if some idea sort of takes root somewhere in my heart, I have to really get after it, go ahead, do it to the best that I can. With my patients, I'm like that because I'm still working in the field of fitness and especially in the pre and postnatal space. So, I'm very like determined and mm, what other words to describe myself? I think somebody who is maybe deeply emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I think दिल पे लगती है,
Oh,
बहुत बहुत चीजें. Not just things people say, लेकिन also just watching the rain come down,
oh,
just watching a new leaf on a plant outside. Just things move me. So I think somebody who gets uh, uh, moved very very quickly. Uh, and what else? Third word. I don't know. uh, mm, how do I describe myself? Gosh, this is so hard, isn't it?
yeah.
It's
See,
really it's
we're
a really tough
constantly talking
question.
about other people. We forget to talk about ourselves.
um, I think someone who can't really sit still.
Hmm.
I think though I've been a meditation practitioner for years, and I do enjoy it very much, and I make sure that I am, I have those when I don't have those spaces when I'm not feeling centered. I immediately make that shift. But in general, I find that I'm somebody who, does not enjoy not having something to do.
Yeah, yeah, lovely, lovely. And tell us about home, about your family. What's life like with Raghav and Agastya?
It's a it's a constant roller coaster with these boys. We actually have another member of the family, my dog
Oh,
Cyrus.
wow.
So I do live with three boys,
Yeah.
and um, Cyrus is the latest addition to our life, our family, and we adopted him when he was 3 years old, and he's a German Shepherd.
Uh-huh.
So he was a full-grown German Shepherd whose family had to move out of India, and so he came to us. And I think the last 2 years have all been about Cyrus, about just you know how to make him feel a part of our family, how to. He's here right now. He's just outside. I will not call him into this podcast because he will not stop barking, and I cannot control him.
Yeah.
Only Raghav can control him, and he's not here. So yeah, I think life with the boys is interesting always.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think that's self-explanatory. Everybody knows. I'm sure everyone who's watching this podcast is nodding their head, saying, "Yeah, we know what she means."
Tell me about your relationship with Raghav. How has it evolved through the journey of parenting and so many years together and almost more than a decade of parenting now?
Just about a decade of Agastya.
Wow.
Um, we just completed a decade in May with
Wow.
him. And Raghav and I have been married for 15 years this December.
Wow.
So, and we were dating for about a year and a half, 2 years
Hmm.
before that. So, yeah, he has, Raghav is a very grounding person for me. He
Hmm.
really uh, keeps me in touch. I'm somebody who's very flighty. If you find it, I find something new, I'd be like, oh, that's I get really excited. And then Raghav's always somebody who's like, yeah, that's great, that's fly all you want. But like it's like when a kite is flying, there's somebody
Yeah.
like just, letting it do its thing, but also like guiding it or holding it or just
Oh.
embracing it like that. I always feel that he's in that way, like an anchor for
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
uh, on the wild waters of all that I'm doing, I guess.
I was talking to you about the start of parenthood for you. How did your journey into motherhood begin? What do you remember most vividly about those first few days and months and weeks with Agastya?
I vividly remember it.
Uh-huh.
It feels like yesterday. So he was born about 2 weeks before we were expecting him.
Hmm.
And so I had, in fact, gone for my checkup on Saturday morning with my doctor. And she was like, yeah, yeah, everything's great. See you next week. I was like, okay. And then we went out for lunch and came back home. And I started feeling uncomfortable. And then Raghav was I was staying at my parents' house because I thought that, I'll move in with my parents, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I was staying with them. And Raghav was like, okay, I'll see you. I'm going to go back home, whatever. And I told him, I said, can you just stay back tonight?
Hmm.
And he did, thank God. And I just kept feeling uncomfortable, uncomfortable, uncomfortable. And then in the middle of the night, I woke him up and I said, listen, I think, I don't know, I need to move or I don't know what to do. I'm not feeling good. So he's like, okay, let's go to the hospital. And we went to the hospital. And by the time we reached the hospital, I was like, I think, I think this is it. Sure enough, when we reached the hospital, they were like, oh, yeah, everything started. Come, come, let's get you admitted. And so got admitted at about, I think, 2 a.m. and had the baby at 10.
Wow.
So, yeah, and normal vaginal delivery, which also I vividly remember. And I remember by the end of it, it was so uh, insane and crazy, right? That when he was born, I thought, it's very strange, right? Like labor is one of those things. Like you're experiencing like the most undoable thing on the planet, with all the effort and the pain and everything. And suddenly, as soon as it's like the birth happens, it's like over, like
Yeah.
Neha, I thought I had died. I was like, oh, I'm dead. Like this is what death must be like. Like in my mind, like my
Yeah.
overactive imagination is like, oh, I was having a full on out of body experience and floating above my body, all of that. And then I hear the doctor say, congratulations, Charu, you have a son. And I'm, huh? And, sort of crash, come back to my body. And I looked and I felt them place something on my stomach, like a
Mm.
wet thing. I looked down and there he was.
Yeah.
And Agastya was kind of born with a fairly stable neck. And so at that moment I looked down and he looked up at me and he looked straight into my eyes. I
Wow.
would never forget that moment. Like it was, and I looked, I said, "Oh, hi." And of course he was like, you know, it was so sweet. And then I looked at the doctors and I said, wait a minute, he's not crying. Is everything okay? Like, why isn't he crying? And they're like, because the cord is still attached. And
Oh,
I was like, what? And I, looked down and the umbilical cord was there, still intact between the two of us. And it was the most, I cannot even, I mean, I have goosebumps even when I
yeah.
think about this because it was, yeah, I think that moment which started it all. We think I thought when I was pregnant, I was like, oh, this is what motherhood feels like. Oh, I'm having these maternal feelings, whatever, nothing. That visceral moment which you can feel and with all you seeing it, you're that sort of it's not like la ti da. It's like a really real visceral moment where you're so much more than a human being. You're almost like an animalistic or like a spiritual being. Like I don't know, it's everything together all at once, like
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
That's what the start of Parenthood felt like to me. It was literally everything all together all at once.
Wow. Wow.
And it
And
was. And it was just incredible.
yeah, yeah. And you've always been so open about how overwhelming the postpartum period was, uh, the exhaustion, the identity shift. And
Yeah.
what was that like, and what helped you navigate that?
It was a very difficult time because everyone always sort of, I had this idea in my head that after a normal vaginal delivery, everything's normal, everything's
Mm.
okay. And I'm somebody who's always, I was a professional dancer, I've been a professional fitness person, I teach classes, even now,
Yeah.
so I was a very, very fit person. I've literally finished my show at NDTV and then, got pregnant. So I was extremely fit through my pregnancy. I was working out, da, da, da. And I had a normal vaginal delivery. And then I was like, but I am not okay. Like
Mm.
nothing was working. Like the breastfeeding was so hard.
Yeah.
हो ही नहीं रहा था. Like I was like,
Mm.
and everyone's like, ये तो
ये तो
natural है,
natural है.
natural hai. And I was like, nothing natural about this baby. Like my baby is struggling. I'm struggling. He has no idea what he's doing. I have no idea how to guide him.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest learning for me right there. Like first few days, I was like, oh my God, this little Jan completely depends on me. And I have no knowledge.
Yeah.
I am zero prepped for this. Zero. And I wrote an article about this where I said, it's like breastfeeding is a little bit like learning how to dance with a new partner. When you dance with another partner, you kind of you're taking on their weight, they're taking on your weight. There's energy, they push you, they pull. Like there's this, and
Yeah.
that's how dance emerges. And I was like, this was exactly like that. Like every few hours, somebody would put this baby into my arms, and then I'm supposed to we're figuring out, okay, how do we
Yeah.
hold each other? Okay, baby, how are you going to hold me? How am I going to hold you? Like, okay, let's try it this way. Let's try, oh, this is not working. Let's try something else. We were
Yeah.
improvising physically, and the physicality of it was what
Yeah.
really, because I am a movement person,
Yeah.
movement is my thing. So it's sort of parenthood for me, like especially from the early days, really got me thinking about, wow, how can we teach this better? Like I
Mm.
think that there is so much that mothers need to know, because not everybody is in touch with their bodies,
Yeah.
and not and here it is really the body is doing everything. The baby comes to you and your body intuitively knows what to put in the milk. I mean,
Yeah.
here the whole thing is physical, physiological, and so I think that that's where the seeds of my what I've been doing for the last 10 years sort of came about with my own experience. And I had a diary and I used to write down my own challenges and, things that work, things that are
Wow.
not working, other people's experiences, because I had a few friends who had also recently gone through this. And I was like asking them, I was like, yaar, sab log keh rahe hain ki ye to sab theek hai, sab natural hai, but am I going crazy? And they're like, you're not crazy. This shit is real. I was like, oh, so there are other women who also feel the same, okay, and are
Yeah.
not like whitewashing this whole thing into like, oh, motherhood is beautiful. And I was
Yeah.
like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
But it's also, it is a lot of learning. Yeah. The child teaches you how to be a mother. I mean,
Yeah.
your teacher is this clueless little thing, and you have to really learn
Yeah.
everything. You have to learn how to hold him, you have to learn how to feed him, how to nurture him, how to comfort him, how to keep him from getting bored, how to make sure that his brain is developing and those synapses are all, like, there's just so much. Like,
Yeah.
so I thought that it was really something. So we had this, Chalis Din Wali Puja,
Yes.
uh, and so usme my mother wrote a card for me, and I still have that card, and she's like, "Get ready, baby, for the biggest role of your life." And
Wow.
I was like, so yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the biggest role.
And a role which the shift doesn't get over. You are.
Oh God. No, no. So I asked, I was just I was talking to my dad on the phone yesterday and I was going over the questions. So he was asking me and he said, oh, parenthood, yeah, it never ends. So I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I'm still parenting you guys. I was like, you actually are. He's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Never ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. And was
Changes.
yeah, it changes. It changes.
Changes.
Yeah, yeah. And you talked about, how you wrote down your challenges, how you took, I mean, it all sounds like Bump to Baby Fitness was born out of that personal experience,
Yeah.
looking at and seeing firsthand what kind of support new mothers actually need but don't get. What is
Yeah.
that true?
That is true. That is true. So again, at that point, this is 2010.
Hmm.
My show Siyasat had just released. I had my baby, and there was a lot of hype about the show. Touchwood, it's a beautiful show. You must watch it.
Yes.
And but now that I had my baby with me, somewhere in your silly head, I thought that my acting career is over. I
Hmm.
was like, up to, you know, like whatever, like now who's gonna cast me or whatever, like, some stupid notions that you have in your head. So I thought that it was over, and I started looking for some other work, and I hosted a breakfast show for someone, for a channel, and then my friend was opening a hospital, a women's maternity hospital. And he called me one day, completely out of the blue, and he said, "Tum kuch fitness karti ho na?" So I said, "Yes, I'm a qualified, ACE certified instructor. I used to work with Reebok." And I said, "Yeah, yeah, that's all fine. I'm doing this women's maternity, ultra luxury, whatever hospital. It's called Rose Walk. And would you come and start the wellness department there?" So I was
Wow.
like, "The what?" I was like, "Huh? Wellness kya hota hai?" Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I had some vague, like, I was like, "Hum massage karenge," like,
Yeah.
no, what are we gonna do? And he's like, "No, no, no, just come, let's talk about it." So I went, and he said, and I thought about it, and then I told him about my experiences. I was like, my baby is now 1.5, and these are my experiences over the last 1.5 years. And if I was to create a program for other women, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is great, let's do it. And he's like, what do you need? And I was like, I need to get certified, I need to get a specialization in the subject.
Yeah.
And so he paid for it. My
Wow.
friend was like, yeah, he said, do it, let's do it, I think this sounds really good. And the hospital will, the our business will pay for it, and then you join us. And I did. I applied for the certification, and of course I had the basic certification. This was a specialization in pre and postnatal fitness, and it was really hard because then you have to study everything. You have to study
Yeah.
anatomy, you have to study psychology, you have to study the whole shebang. And I studied it, I passed. Yay.
Wow.
um, and when I showed him the certificate, Rasik was like, I had no doubts, I knew that you would. And I started the wellness department. I hired a team,
Hmm.
and we started the department looking at the physical, emotional, and complete needs of women. And
Wow.
that was when they go from being a girl to being a mother.
Yeah.
That transition period
Yeah.
is what so that has now slowly evolved into the bump to baby method, which I am now doing with my partner Nupur.
Yeah, yeah. And you talk about that, but what was missing in the way we traditionally look at postpartum care and postpartum recovery that you wanted to change?
So I think that what was really missing was the physicality aspect of it. I think that there is a certain amount, or I think, yeah, I know now after so many years of doing this, we have the data. In
Hmm.
fact, we're going to be publishing a paper about this soon. Is that
Wow.
when we bring in the correct kind of movement back to a woman's body, you are training this person who has been pregnant to now hold herself better now that there is no baby in the belly and now that the baby is here. So
Hmm.
when you're pregnant, you're carrying the load on your belly, and so your posture responds to that. You start walking differently. Anybody who's pregnant knows this. You start walking differently, you start holding yourself differently, everything is different. And then in one day,
Yeah.
the baby is here.
Yeah.
3 kgs, Neha. You are carrying that baby day and night.
Yeah.
3 kilo आप उठा रहे हैं. So then the posture responds to that. Now you're like becoming like this. You're having pain here. We
Yeah.
have so many mothers who start having pain in their thumbs because of the repeated baby care. These are activities we're not used to doing physically.
Yeah.
So, my first point in supporting all women is to really teach them to start looking at their bodies. This body that has made this baby and birthed this baby now needs you to really look at it and recover through movement, because
Mm.
movement can be medicine when it's
Mm.
done right.
Yeah.
So that's been our work, over the years, to really try and figure out what movement we can give to this lady
Yeah.
from day one onwards, all the way up to 40 days after birth, so that she doesn't have to suffer.
Yeah. Yeah.
No mother should have to suffer a backache. No mother should have to suffer shoulder ache, thumb ache, wrist ache, elbow ache, whatever it is that you're suffering. Pain is not okay. Pain is always your body telling you, I need attention. I need to be looked at. You need to think of what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also with mothers, like we have so many moms now who have developed ache in their wrists, ache in their elbows, shoulders, frozen shoulder ho gaya, ye ho gaya, whatever, all kinds of stuff. Once the baby is actually here, to be honest, सबकी attention, including mummy की पूरी attention baby की तरफ जा रही है, right?
Right.
So they forget that you're also important. You're also, that's a newborn baby. You're a newborn mother. जितना लाड़ प्यार रेस्ट वगैरह सब बेबी मसाज वगैरह बेबी को चाहिए, आपको भी चाहिए.
Hmm.
So, like you have to really start. I think right now, my push is to really start looking at the initial recovery period of postpartum a little bit better. And
Right.
India traditionally actually has that system. Traditionally we know wo 40 din, you
Yeah.
know, 40 days.
Yeah.
Uh, but what are we doing in those 40 days? With
Hmm.
movement that is facilitating that recovery, that seems to be forgotten knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And how?
there are a lot of gaps here, actually,
Yeah.
when you start talking to grandmothers and mothers, they kind of half remember, acha ha ye bhi hum karte the, ye bhi hum karte the, but it's like half remembered. So also, like, one of the things we're doing is when we find like a nugget of information that seems to be relevant to urban mothers today,
Yeah.
we make a note of it and we add it into our program, and we start
Wow.
talking to other people about incorporating it.
Wow. 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 And I'm just wondering that, like how do you does this program happen physically, like in a location, or do the mothers come to the location, or does this program go to the mothers? How does it work?
At the moment, we are working in two hospitals,
Mhm.
and our work is very clinical. And also, my team is all physiotherapists, so the work is very clinical. We are doing some home visits, but yeah, I think the eventual idea of this would be to take it online and to make it more accessible to everybody. So
Yeah.
we are working on that. It's just that it's
Yeah, yeah. Maybe the mothers who are going to be mothers, the potential mothers will benefit from the program, coming online and all
I
of.
know. I know. No, that is definitely what I plan to do in the next 1.5 years now. I'm
Wow.
really trying to like get it to make the correct videos, make the correct platform, have an accessible program.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
The
Also,
thing is, I don't want to generalize pregnancy and the
yeah,
puerperium period, because every pregnant person that comes in front of me is different. They're coming from a different background. They have a different background of fitness. They have a different association with their body. There's so much that comes out when the client is in front of you,
yeah,
um, and so. But having said that, COVID came,
yeah,
and in COVID, people were still pregnant and they still
yeah,
needed this. So
yeah.
I had quite a few patients who used to meet me online.
Hmm.
And I think that Zoom is actually quite amazing. And you
Yeah,
just have to start thinking about it differently.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out a method which will work for everybody.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. And also talking about, like, we've talked about movement, we've talked about physicality, but I also want to talk about the emotional journey that, parenting forces you to take. And I have always felt that becoming a parent forces you to also look inward. Did that happen with you? I mean, coming face to face with parts of you, you could easily ignore before, but now you can't.
No, not just parts of me. Like, I think, of course, it's Agastya is like looking into a mirror. It's
Yeah.
also like looking at my husband,
Yeah.
uh, my parents, my in-laws,
Yeah.
my brother. You know, he's
Yeah.
like a little bit of all of us. And so I joke about this with my brother so much. I'm like, oh my God, it's like having a childhood with you all over again. but uh, uh, but yeah, I think it. There's this beautiful book that I read, and I recommend this to everybody, called The Conscious Parent
Yeah.
by Dr. Shafali Sabri. And the conscious parent is the idea. The basic idea is that you have to be conscious that if your child is triggering you, right? So if
Mm.
there is something about your child that makes you really angry, like, oh my God, when he does this, I just, there's a trigger. It's not the child. You have to look inwards and really think about what that trigger is, where it's coming from, and heal yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of parents think that I have to work on my child, isko
Yeah.
mujhe theek karna hai, varna ye वैसा ban jayega, or
Mm.
he'll do the same mistakes that I made or whatever. But it's really not about the child. It is about your own inner child.
Yeah.
And so you have to really like focus on that. And I think that is like, I mean, now I'm adding one more thing on the many things that I have to do in a day. Like,
Yeah.
apart from all the other stuff that I got to do, now I have to also focus on my inner child. But that is so important to understand and recognize that.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. And I read that book, then I gave it to Raghav. I don't know if he's read it or not, but I talk about it a lot. and we have to keep reminding each other
Right.
that, you know, why are we angry? Like, what is it that's, irritating us so much?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very often, it has nothing to do with the child whatsoever. It has to do with.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
you've
think that's
also,
the hardest part, right? Like,
yeah.
it'd
Yeah.
be so much easier, no, Neha, if you say, shut up, footish. But no, let's take the difficult route. Let's go inwards. So hard.
Yeah.
But I think that's the biggest challenge is making the right choice again and again. And
Yeah.
failing again and again. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, parenthood is all about like, oh, okay, let's try again.
Yeah. Not
Okay.
again. Not again. But again.
There's so much of that. And that's what makes it so challenging. I don't think it's the other stuff. Yes, of course, I haven't slept in 10 years. I've never well rested. I am, always got 20 things on my mind, blah, blah, blah. But I think the most challenging aspect is this, like, having to deal with constantly knowing that every single decision that you make is impacting this little John,
Yeah.
and is, everything that you say is going to become his inner voice somewhere.
Yeah.
And being conscious of that. Then, like the other day, I was really into this Netflix show, and I was like, oh, next episode, next episode, next episode. And he's like, oh, mummy, something, something. I was like, oh, just take 1 extra hour of screen time. And then I was like, what did I do? But like, as parents, like, everything is like, everything is so, yeah, you have to just keep questioning yourself and thinking, oh, am I doing this right? Oh my God, what have I done? And, how am I
Yeah.
doing this right now? And it's just like a constant barrage of that.
Yeah. 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 And does Raghav also feel the same, or is it just you who's constantly feeling like this restless energy?
No, I think he does. I think that maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but yeah, I think that we're on the same page. I had a long chat with him yesterday also. He's not here, and
Hmm.
I spoke to him yesterday, and I was asking him. I said, "Okay, one of the questions is, what is the most defining moment for you as a parent?" And he's like, "Oh, that's easy. It's the first time I held him." And I said, "Okay." And then he said, "You know, I thought people kept telling me कि newborn babies, कि necks बिल्कुल unstable होती है, and he said, in my head I was like, his head will fall off, or something.
Yeah.
So I think for like 2 days after he was born, Raghav did not pick up Agastya,
Wow.
and I didn't know this. I had other stuff going on.
Yeah.
But and one day, like, his friend came over, and she sort of, was trying to give the baby to him or something, and he was like, no, 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 if I hold him, his head will fall off. And I was like, what nonsense? And he's like, no, no. And then I looked at him, I said, have you not picked up our son? He's like, so there's this very, and I was like, you will pick up the child right now. And there's this hilarious video of, Agastya being put into Raghav's arms, and he's like so focused and so like, okay, where's his neck? Oh my God, I can't even see the neck. It's so hilarious. Um, but yeah, I think that Raghav's whole style of parenting is, I think that incident is very telling, because he is, he's cautious,
Hmm.
he's very aware, he handles them with kid gloves. But he's also very, very fun. Like, he's a fun dad. But yeah,
Hmm.
when it comes to, the other stuff, he's definitely a lot more cautious than I am. I'm pretty bindas, and then I regret it later. But I'm like, ah. Raghav is not like that. A rule is a rule.
Hmm. Beautiful. You need both kind of people in that
Yeah,
team.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that note, what has been the most defining moment of parenting for you?
Listen, what is not a defining moment in parenthood?
That's
Please
also
tell
true.
me.
That's
Like,
also true.
I cannot think of like a single moment that, or maybe like what I said, like, like the first time I looked at him was definitely life altering.
Yeah.
Like it was, I will never forget that. It was just, I've never felt like that. And so it was very funny. One of my friends who's an actor, and we've done a lot of theater together. And I was actually in the middle of directing a play when I had Agastya.
No.
So, so I was deep into the script and the processes, and then I had the baby. And so ये हुआ कि ठीक है, he's a newborn, like, ये तो सोते रहते हैं, like we can do this. Yeah. I do not advise anybody to direct the play when they've just had a baby, but I was doing that.
Yeah.
So I cast my friend Daman and led him through a few rehearsals. And he told me, he said, Charu, do you realize you're a better actor today than you were before? And I was like, really? And he's like, I've known you for a long time.
Mhm.
Okay. And something about giving birth to Agastya has changed.
Wow.
So I was like, a lot has changed. But I thought about it, and I thought he's absolutely right,
Yeah.
because I think what did there was I have never, I think, before I actually gave birth to Agastya, never felt that amount of pain,
Yeah.
never felt that amount of concern, or that guarded feeling,
Yeah.
like that extreme protective, I am a lion,
Yeah.
like growling, like I have never, I had, as an actor, never been able to take myself down to that feral depth
Yeah.
which I experienced in this whole process of going from girl to being a mother.
Yeah.
And and like, and just that feeling that you get, ऐसे उमड़ के आती है like a
Oh.
wave, when you look at your child,
Yeah.
that amount of love I
Yeah.
had never felt. I mean, you love your parents, you love your brother, you love your husband, but the way you feel about this little thing, like, and so I really, and I think he was absolutely right, that that moment of that change really brought me so much more in touch with my very core,
Yeah.
an aspect of me that I had not been able to access before as an actor.
Yeah.
And I was totally wrong. My acting journey did not stop because I had Agastya. I got much, much better roles after
Yeah.
I had my son than I
Yeah.
ever did
Yeah.
before I had.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you have also spoken about how your relationship with your body itself changed as a performer and as a woman. What
Yes.
was that transformation?
As a performer, though, I've told you, I think that it definitely made me a hell of a lot more gutsy, courageous, brave. Like, I discovered those aspects of myself only when I had him.
Yeah,
Um, and before that, it was there, but it was kind of like peripheral, superficial, but it went really deep
yeah,
once I had him. And that was a very interesting personal journey for me as a performer and as an actor. Uh, oh my God, I had so many body issues that I was not aware of.
yeah.
Um, and so the other day, last week, one of my friends who is a director called me and he said, hey, I was cleaning out my office and I found something and I think I should give it to you. And I was like, oh, what is it? He's like, oh, it is just, next time we meet, I'll hand it over to you. And when we met the next time, he handed me an envelope. And inside that envelope were 4 photographs of me when I was 23 years old.
Oh, wow.
They were like casting pictures, like pictures that I would give to people
Yeah,
to cast me for their films. And he was actually the casting director and worked with Wes Anderson on Darjeeling Limited, which is a film that I had done. And he said, I think this is from that time. I think you
yeah,
must have given me these to show him. And, they were here in my office and I was cleaning up and I thought you might want to have these. And I looked at those pictures and my first thought was like, ow, who is this girl?
Hmm.
Where has she gone? And I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, this was me. Why
Hmm.
the hell did I have any problems at all? Like, I was like, and all the time, and especially I think perhaps because of the profession that I'm in, I was constantly being told, you're too tall, you're too thin, you're too fat, you're too old, you're too young, you're too whatever. Like there was
Yeah.
constantly like, oh, you don't fit into this size. Oh my God. Oh, look at this measurement. Oh, like it was just a constant, not just my own inner voice self criticizing, but also like actual people
Yeah.
criticizing.
Yeah.
And I was like, and so I had a pretty, I mean, considering, and I'm looking at those pictures and I'm like, I look good.
Yeah.
What was my problem exactly? Like, why did I have these issues?
Yeah.
And I came back and I showed them to Agastya and I was like, can you recognize who this is? And he looks at it for a second and he turns his head and he said, is that you? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, wow. So I was like, yeah, it kind of is wow. So I think, and like, because like my body changed so quickly, like after you have a baby, you're sort of used to having things a certain way. Like I was moving differently, I was feeling different, I was looking different.
Yeah.
So it took me a long, long time to make my peace with what is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was not an easy journey. It was a difficult journey.
Yeah.
And I think that the work that I'm doing definitely helped
Yeah. Yeah.
because these are emotions you share with everyone. And I mean everybody. I did this we did this program with the Anganwadi workers. And we went to this little, Delhi has these Lal Dora
Yes.
areas, these little villages. So we went into one of those villages and we met a whole bunch of women who were, either recently had children or were pregnant, etc. And we were taking a workshop with them. And do you know what the number one question that every woman who had had a baby was?
When will I get back in shape?
Can you imagine?
I can imagine because I have the same question.
Everybody has the same question. So it's not about vanity. It's not about, because I have to wear jeans. It's not that. You may be in a sari, you may have a ghungat up till here, whatever. But every woman has this idea. I had this client who came to me after having two children. She came to me and she brought a photograph of herself on the day of her wedding. And she's like, this is me.
Hmm.
That's not me. This is me. Okay. I need to go back to being this. And it took me so long to get through to her. The darling, you know, you are you.
Hmm.
This is you now. You cannot go back to being this because this person didn't have the kind of schedule you have with your two children. This person did not have the kind of anything that you have now. The life that you have with your two children now is not this person.
Yeah.
But there was, so I don't just think it is just the physicality of it. I think it is
Yeah.
also this huge like want and need to become that girl again,
Yeah.
you know, the
Yeah.
way I used to feel.
Yeah. 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 When you,
So,
yeah. Yeah. Please go ahead.
no, so I was saying that it comes across like, can I have my body back, please?
Yeah.
Can I just get rid of this? Can I just get rid of this? So, I used to be broader in my shoulders. I don't know what's happening now. Like, so it comes across like that. And yes, with the physicality, there is a lot that we can do.
Yeah.
But I think I also coach them in like, please accept yourself the way you are now
Yeah.
and just yourself, the
Yeah.
body one can work with.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is your work. It's your personal work.
Yeah.
That's your that's
Yeah, I am taking back this lesson in my life because
oh,
I am struggling with this right now. Look at
everybody
my
is
wedding pictures and I am like, okay, I used to be this. I am
I
not this, you
I
know?
know. I
Yeah,
know.
so that kind of a thing. But how do you deal with the feelings of, when you saw the pictures of yourself as those that 23-year-old,
It's
did you say,
hard.
"Oh my God, I miss that girl"?
But I don't think I do. That girl was also extremely confused, extremely conflicted, had clueless, okay, was no idea what she wanted, where she was, and yeah,
Yeah.
was hanging out with the wrong people. I mean, like hanging out with the wrong people, had some bad boyfriends, like everyone. No, we forget these things.
Yeah.
We've forgotten that. We've forgotten that.
Yeah.
मेरे साथ तो बहुत था.
हाँ। नहीं, मुझे लगता है सबके साथ ही था।
So I would love to look like that again, but that's kind of difficult at the age of 44 and kind of like would be weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, or would require a lot of work and do I really want to do that work? Like do
Yeah.
you really want to like that's the other question, like do you really want to do that work, like that immense effort that it's not that it's impossible. It
Yeah.
is possible. We have seen it over and over again. It is possible when people make that a priority. It happens. It's okay. That can be done. But how much of that effort do you really want to make?
Yeah. Yeah. True. 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 And
I think
talking
that's the
about,
question to ask yourself. Like it's
yeah.
not just otherwise it's wishful thinking.
Yeah. 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 And talking about that kind of effort, do you make any kind of effort to carve out me time for yourself? What does me time look like for you?
It could be anything. um So I actually, when we're on shoot, we have a lot of time actually
Yeah.
because between shots there's hours.
Yeah.
So I decided long ago that I am not going to allow myself to get bored and all. I'm really going to utilize that time for myself. So the things that I love to do, like and don't have the time to do, like my singing riyaz, listening to music, reading books, watching TV, things that I would normally not get the chance to do. I just
Did.
make sure that in my vanity, I am doing all those things.
Wow.
And yeah, so you'll never see me on the set. Like when I'm on the film set, it's like, Charu kahan hai? Isn't she going to dinner with us? Nope. Charu is going to sit in her vanity and eat her soup and watch the Netflix show. I'm terrible. But yeah, it's because it's just, I so badly need it.
Hmm.
uh, I so badly need it, and so I just take that time to also be with my character and really think about acting. And of course, it requires a hell of a lot of work, but you do have a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
so I think that's my me time.
Yeah. And what
But
happens when
I
you're
mean,
at home with your boys?
yeah, with my boys between Cyrus and Agastya and Raghav. It's busy. Busy.
Yeah, yeah. And uh, tell me about, they say that it takes a village to raise a child, and now you're raising two, Agastya and Cyrus both. So what and who makes up your village? The people who show
Okay.
up? Yeah.
In my case, my mom-in-law has
Mm.
been the biggest support system possible.
Wow.
It's literally when and I travel a lot for
Yeah.
film. So when I travel and I'm leave for the airport, she moves in. She
Wow.
moves in. And
Wow.
she would do that. And how sweet, right? I mean, she would just stop whatever was happening in her and just move in and Agastya used to be like, okay, now mummy is gone and now this is my mummy.
Mm.
And she is completely dedicated to my son.
Wow.
And I am so blessed. I just love her for that. So that's amazing. My parents are also really, really dedicated to Agastya, and the staff. I mean, I have a support system for everything, And I am so grateful for these people who are in my life
Yeah.
and who work so closely with my family and are just so, I mean, I think there's devotion on both sides. They're devoted to us and we're devoted to them.
Yeah.
So having those systems is so important.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Agastya was really young, we were staying in a very far off place. We were not quite in Delhi. We had a farm on the outskirts, and there were two other friends of mine from college who coincidentally were also staying around that area, and coincidentally, all of us had children.
Wow.
So for that first year and a half, when our children were so small, we were a support system for each other. And it
Yeah.
would be like, okay, you have something to do, you leave your baby with me. Your nanny also comes, and so
Yeah.
we used to do that. And I thought that was also a beautiful friendship that evolved that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
between the three of us, because we were all going through this postpartum. And I don't mean we were depressed. Okay,
Yeah.
there's a difference between postpartum depression, is a very serious thing, and it should not be flung around. It's not a term that we should just be randomly using.
Yeah.
It's a clinical term that should be
Yeah.
used only when it needs to be used.
Yeah.
But the postpartum period, that exhaustion, that knowing, that unknowingness, ki ab kya karna hai, like that feeling of like I'm not in control,
Yeah.
that postpartum period, that's what I mean.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And that postpartum period, in that period or after that or since then, has there been a particular moment when you felt completely overwhelmed as a parent where you thought, I just can't do this today? I mean, I give
Every
up
day.
every day.
Every day. There is definitely a moment every single day where I'm just like, um, I think there was one specific moment, which was the time when we moved to Delhi, like into South Delhi, and decided to change Agastya's school.
Wow.
And so he was in class 2 at that time. And till then, right, any life decision of his was made by me. I
Yeah.
decided who his nanny is. I decided what he ate. I decided he would go to this primary school. I decided he would go to this school. I decided everything for him. And he never had a say, or he never said anything back or whatever. But now, in class 2, he was 7 and had a mouth on him. And I discovered this for the first time, because when I told him, I was like, and I worked, I mean, I really moved heaven and earth, right? Like you do as
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
get admission. And this was like a midterm admission, and, बहुत ही मुश्किल से, like it was just really, uh, I was so grateful that
Yeah.
everything sort of happened, and I had taken it. And then I told him, I said that, oh, by the way, after summer vacations, you're going to be going to a new school. And he was like, what?
Mm.
And my 7-year-old child decided to give it off to me. And not like a shouting, screaming, that also happened, but it was like logical arguments. Like, I have friends in my previous school. What if my friends forget me? Like, if I go to another school, I'm not going to meet them every day, and they're going to forget me, and they're not going to remember who I am, and I'm going to lose my friends.
Wow.
That's what you have done. And I was like, huh? And and just like, why this new school? Like, what's the problem with the old school? And blah, blah, blah. And I like, it's too far now for us. We can't make it. You can't be on the road for 1 hour. They don't have a bus that comes to our house. Da, 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 da. No logic works for him. He's just like, everything can be worked out. Anil Bhaiya can drop me. I can go there. And this went on for 2 days.
Wow.
Like it went on and on. And I was trying. So I had so many, like, okay, I give up moments. But obviously, like, I could not change the situation. It was done. The
Yeah.
admission had been given, his admission had been withdrawn. I could not switch it back,
Yeah.
nor did I want to. So then I really tried to understand ki is baby ka problem kya hai? Like, what is
Mm.
what is at the heart of this outburst? And both Raghav and me, we both really paid attention to what he was really saying.
Yeah.
And what came out was that he was very fearful of being the new child in school. His biggest fear was I will go there and I will not know anybody and they will laugh at me and they will make fun of me and I will not have friends and I will. So I was like, okay, now I have something I can work with.
Yeah.
So then I called up the new school and I said, can you put me in touch with children who live around our colony who go to the school?
Yeah.
And they were very sweet. They said, yeah, sure. And they gave me a few numbers of moms. So during the summer vacation, I actually just made cold calls to these
Yeah.
amazing mothers and said, hi, I'm Charu. My son is going to start going to your school. And, is it okay if the children meet?
Yeah.
Since I just want him to have a familiar face when he gets to a new school.
Yeah.
And these mums, they were so open. They were like, yeah, yeah, sure. And they invited us over. And so over the summer vacations, we met like 10 children
Wow.
repeatedly. And so that the only thing was when Agastya goes to this new school, and it was that weird timing. Like his school was starting, and 2 days later, I was leaving for the UK for a month for a film.
Wow.
So I was like, really, what? Like, ye kya hoga?
Yeah.
So I am like, really, like, I told you I'm very determined. I'm
Yeah.
psycho determined. Psycho. I was like planning play dates, calling, cold calling everybody, and just made sure that when my son goes to school, I made two of those mums who promised me. They said, "We will tell our children to be good to Agastya in school on his first day. Don't worry, you
Wow.
go do your film."
Wow.
So I think that when you make the effort, you
Yeah.
talked about building your village, like when you make the attempt to reach out to other mothers, it is it is actually quite likely that they would understand you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. That's true. And on the other side, on the other hand, what's one small ordinary moment maybe that always fills you with joy, something that makes you think, yes, this right here is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm so blessed.
But Agastya,
Yeah.
everything. I mean, I'm not particularly fond of him playing video games. That does not
Mm,
fill me with joy. Quite the opposite.
yeah.
Um, he does. He does. He's part of this little theater group,
Hmm.
and um, I love that. When I go to drop him off for his performances at Triveni, it's like my favorite day. I'll because the performers reach early, they have to go
Yeah.
backstage, they have to do their warm up, and so I'm that theater mom. I
Yeah.
carry films. I'll go, I'll sit there, I'll watch, I'll be telling him so I think that really fills me with joy. It so happened that this year his play was on my birthday,
Oh,
and
wow.
so Raghav was like, oh no, now what do we do? I was like, no problem. I was like, this is the perfect way to spend my birthday. I get to go backstage, I get to go to Triveni, let's just have lunch there in the canteen, let's just I'm such a theater wala, so I was very kicked. I was like, great, the perfect birthday.
Wow, wow. And tell me, I mean, of course, I don't want the answer to be everything because I
Okay.
know that's going to be everything. But what's something that Agastya has taught you? Maybe about patience, maybe about slowing down, about wonder. What is it that he's
All these things. Uh, um, he's very kind and very he loves animals. And
Hmm.
I don't mean that in the he loves all animals. He does, but when I see him with Cyrus, and especially the way Cyrus came to us, he was very guarded when he first entered our lives. Cyrus, I'm saying,
Yeah.
and and he was a big dog. He was a fully grown dog, and very guarded, scared. Had massive anxiety issues. Um, and Agastya was so gentle and so playful with him. And he was so instrumental in helping us to bring this dog out of that shell.
Yeah.
And Raghav is also amazing with dogs. So is my mother-in-law. And I not grown up with animals, so for me this is all new.
Yeah.
And I have seen Raghav with animals before, and I've seen my mother-in-law with animals before, and I find it fascinating because they come from this very deep place in their hearts, like their love for an animal is different from what I would feel,
Yeah.
I think. And Agastya feels like that. He is really connected to Cyrus, and very kind, and not kind in the traditional sense of, oh, not like that. He knew instinctively what to do with him,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Beautiful.
how he's feeling, or what he must be feeling, or
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that is something that I am learning from Agastya and Raghav and my mother-in-law every day. It's
Wow.
beautiful to watch that. It's really something that I can learn.
Yeah. And it's beautiful to hear about, like you really, really, the way you talk about it, the way you express it. I mean, of course, you're an actor, you're trained in doing so, but it's very, very evocative. I can really feel it. I can feel the love. So thank you for sharing that with us. And now that it's been few years of mothering, do you feel motherhood has expanded you, grounded you, or maybe both?
Both, definitely, um, in different ways.
Hmm.
Um, it's also given me wings in certain ways. As an artist, like I said, I've said this before, but as an artist, I feel that I am much more capable of handling any kind of role now, much better than I was before. I think that it has given me a lot of depth in that way. And um, what was it, that term, plumbing your emotional depths? Motherhood is that, and I get to practice that every day for free.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's really given me a lot in that sense. And so yeah, in that way it's given me wings, and grounding in the sense that simple rituals become so important.
Yeah.
So walking him to his carpool every day
Yeah.
is important. It's
Yeah.
something I would wake up for, and I would
Yeah.
plan my day around. His bedtime has not changed since he was a child. So
Mm.
when he was a newborn baby, I would always end the day by massaging him and reading to him.
Yeah.
The books have changed,
Yeah.
um, but that ritual. So he would have his raat ka nahana, and then wear his night suit, and then he would come and he'd be like, "Let's go, it's bedtime." And if I'm home, then both of us would sit down with a book and we would read a chapter, and take some lotion, massage his legs, because he's growing, so he has a lot of
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah.
So the massage helps. So massage his feet, massage his hands, cuddle, cuddle.
Mm. Yeah.
So that is very precious. So I think all these things are so grounding.
Yeah.
These rituals that you build around family life, they become
Yeah.
such grounding things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
also, what's really grounding is ki wait for him. Ab ye so jaye, bhai. The minute he's asleep, I'm like, and I get up and I come, and then Raghav and we watch a movie. Or we just talk about stuff
yeah.
that is not related to
Yeah. Yeah. I
इसके
know.
स्कूल में क्या हो रहा है, इसकी यूनिफॉर्म लानी है, अरे वो लाना है, ये वाली फीस पे करनी है. Not related to that. We talk about other stuff. So Even that's so grounding, right? Like, and both
Yeah.
of us are looking forward to it. It's like, so yeah.
Yeah. This reminds me of a night I mean, my son was really, really young and he was a newborn only. And we were making, and that was one of those sleepless nights, and he was just not falling asleep. And we were just trying, sometimes I would rock him, sometimes my husband would rock him, and he would just not fall asleep. And the moment he fell asleep, I think it was about 2:30 a.m. or something, and we just plopped down on the bed and we are like finally asleep, and we ordered some 10 packets of chips and had a chips party.
Joy. You know, there's
Yeah,
actually no joy like that. Like, I love watching him sleeping. Like, I know it sounds
yeah,
psycho, but when he's sleeping, his face is still the same. Like, even though
yeah,
10 years have passed, like, when he's asleep, like, he still has that newborn look around
yeah,
him. Which is so like imprinted in my memory. And so I love watching him sleep because also it's so joyful. Like, when
yeah.
they're sleeping, it's like
Oh,
so deeply joyful.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I
What's
hear you.
what's next for you, Charu? Anything exciting you're working on personally or professionally that you'd like to share?
Um, yeah, lots of stuff. There's a couple of films that we're completing and hopefully should be out soon. There's
Wow.
a show with applause that I'm hoping will be out soon, and so that's professionally. And also, of course, my work with my pre and postnatal, which continues. So I hope to spend a lot more time now, and like I was telling you, take the whole program online so that it has better reach.
Yeah,
uh, Betty.
yeah,
um and personally, I am going to be traveling a little bit for work, a little bit for pleasure. So traveling to Madhya Pradesh next week, which would be
wow.
fun. Yeah, I love traveling in India.
Mm,
It's And so I'm looking forward to going to the forts and visiting the
yeah,
temples and the architecture and the history, and I love all that.
yeah.
Um, as so Yeah, then some work in Bombay. Normal stuff. Wish I
Yeah.
had something more exciting to tell you, but it's like,
Oh, what you have told us is pretty exciting. It has got us excited. And this is your chance to tell us something exciting. If you could sit across from your pre-parent self and the Charu before Agastya, what would you tell her?
so uh, I think I would tell her, ये तो कुछ नहीं है. Like, you're feeling so deeply about, like, losing out on that project. No, no, wait. Wait and see. Yeah, I think the pre Agastya Charu would have needed that,
Yeah.
because she was a very lost, ambitious person.
Hmm.
It's a
Hmm.
terrible thing to be ambitious and lost. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I hear you. And
so yeah, I think looking back, that's what I would have told her.
yeah, beautiful. And finally, my last question for you today. If you were to share one piece of advice or insight or wisdom for our listeners who are tuning in, what would you tell them?
Oh, please, you don't need my advice. Your baby will teach you everything you need to know. Like, they were born to be your teachers. It's an illusion that we are here to whatever, whatever, whatever. Um, but they teach us so much more. So
Yeah.
be open to that. Be open to receiving that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So far, does it make sense?
No, but But that makes complete sense. That
Okay.
makes, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Charu, for this conversation. It's been so grounding and full of heart. What I love most about the way you speak about motherhood is that you don't really sugarcoat it. It's it's just what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here and sharing your insights with us.
Thank you, Neha. This was really fun.
Thank you. And to everyone listening, thank you as always for being here. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Don't forget to follow Parenthood, subscribe wherever you're listening, and leave us a quick review. It helps this community grow. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.